Okay, on to the second part of our video about expository texts. Okay, so this is the third of the 5 text structures. This is descriptive, and it's exactly like it sounds. So let's look in here. We'll read this little paragraph here and talk about what makes it descriptive. Soccer is one of the most popular sports in the world. Millions of people play soccer. It is a fairly simple game to learn. Players try to move the ball down the field and kick it into their goal. However, a goalie stands in front of the goal and tries to block any shot the other team makes. If a team gets the ball in the goal, they score 1 point. Players need to know the rules. You are not allowed to touch the ball with your hands unless you are the goalie or you are throwing the ball into the field from the sideline. You are also not allowed to tackle other players. The referee watches to make sure each player follows the rules. To play soccer, you need just a few items. You need to have a ball, a large area of grass, and goals. Many players wear special shoes called cleats. These shoes have points on the bottom to help players run without slipping. Many players also wear shin guards. These protect a player's legs from getting kicked. Okay, so did we see any of the characteristics of our other text structures in here? Did we see any kind of cause and effect relationship? Did we see a problem and a solution? Did we see a comparison and a contrast? I didn't see those things. I suppose you could really pick at it and pull them out. But for the most part, this is describing. This is like an article telling someone about something. So the main topic here in this article is what? It's soccer. So when we use our graphic organizer, I like this kind of like text web or whatever. So in the very center, you're going to start with what the text is about. And each of these circles around, you're going to talk about the points or the details that kind of back up that topic. Like what are the details in the text? So right off the bat, first thing they say, soccer is one of the most popular sports. It should say in the world. So it says word, but it's in the world. Players move ball down the field and into the goal. And that is right there in the second paragraph. Not allowed to touch ball with hands. So where is that? Not allowed to touch the ball with your hands. And you can actually have more circles coming off of soccer than I do, or you could even have circles coming off of this. It's just a way to organize the information, really, but this kind of helps us understand what makes this a descriptive text. So you need a ball, a grassy area, and goals, and that's right here. Referee watches to make sure each player follows the rules. So we have that in here. The referee watches. Okay. And finally, you need cleats and shin guards for protection, which is down here at the bottom. So this is pretty clear cut. I feel like it is literally a text about soccer, and it's describing, so it's descriptive. It's describing soccer. When I was searching for this, I came across articles describing Harry Potter, describing different kinds of animals, just a lot of different descriptive text structures. So that's basically how you know that it's descriptive. It's just the whole thing is about something, and it's describing that thing. Okay. So now we'll move on to problem and solution. So again, here are our words that we're looking for. Because. So this should pose a problem and present a solution. Several students receive poor grades on writing assignments. not because they lack the ability to communicate, but because they cannot seem to manage their time when it comes to a large project. They do not know where to begin and therefore put things off until the last minute. To solve this problem, so look at that, to solve, so you have solve, which is the base word for the word solution, and problem, which is right there. So you have problem and solution right there. To solve this problem, students need to develop a timeline for completing the project. If they divide the assignment into manageable chunks or parts and then set a schedule for completing each part, they will be able to finish the entire project before the deadline. So this is kind of like an if-then, which is, I know, more like cause and effect, but kind of when you're posing a solution to a problem, you're going to suggest the solution by saying, if we do this, then this will happen. So that kind of also goes into the problem and solution. So we have our words because, therefore, to solve, and problem, and if they. Okay, so then we're going to pull out what our problem is. So what is our problem? It is students receive poor grades on writing assignments. Well, before we find the steps to the solution, we need the solution, right? So the solution, they said, was develop a timeline for project completion. So that's what they suggested as the solution. So let's look at the steps to solve that problem using this solution. Step 1, divide the project into chunks. They said manageable chunks, I believe. And 2, set a schedule for completing each chunk. So this is our problem and solution. Again, they pose a problem. There's something wrong that needs fixed, and they suggest a solution to fix it. So we have a problem, solution, and steps. Okay, so this is sequence. So this is a little bit of a long article here, but I mean, it's what I found to use, and I thought it was very clear that it was a sequence text. Now, not all of these are going to be as clear as the ones I'm presenting to you. Let me move this up here. But I'm hoping that it'll just help you get the hang of it. Okay, so our article here is about carving pumpkins. First, decide what kind of design you want to carve on your pumpkin. This will help you choose a pumpkin that works with your plans. Next, pick a pumpkin that will work best with your design. Now, you will need to gather all of your pumpkin carving supplies. Okay, so let's look at some of these words here. They are very, very obviously sequence words. So first, next, now. As we start to go down the rest of the article, we have more nows. We literally have them talk about time. So basically these are like time words or chronological words, chronological order. And they literally use the word time. After, another now, next, finally. Okay, so now it is time to cut a lid for the pumpkin. Cut a rough circle around the stem of the pumpkin. Make sure to cut the top at a slant so the lid has an edge to rest on. After you remove the lid, you can start taking the seeds and pulp out of the pumpkin. Scrape the inside of the pumpkin clean so more light can shine through your design. Now you can draw the jack-o'-lantern's face on the pumpkin with a dry erase marker. If you make a mistake, wipe the mark off with a wet cloth. Next, have an adult cut along the lines you drew. Use your finger to push out the pieces of pumpkin once the carving is done. Place a small candle or glow light inside the pumpkin to light it up. Finally, clean the mess you made and enjoy your new jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so this was very obviously a text structured like a sequence. So let's see what our... Okay, so I mean, this is pretty clear cut. When you're organizing the information from an article like this, you're putting it right in chronological order. So they gave you first, next, now, time, after, next, finally. So you're going to label this like steps, okay? So like step 1, so you have your number 1 here. Decide what kind of design you want to carve. Was that our first thing? First, decide what kind of design you want to carve. Perfect. And we just go down the list. Pick a pumpkin, gather your carving supplies, cut a lid, remove the lid, take out the seeds, draw your design on the pumpkin, have an adult cut along the lines, place a candle or glow stick inside, and clean up the mess. I feel like this one is another very clear-cut one, probably even more so than the others, just because this is very obviously steps in a process. Okay, so, I want to make this box a little bit bigger, but I can't really do that. Okay, so let's look really quick here at an article. It is an expository text, and we're going to go through some steps to figure out what we need to do with this. So I want to move on to the next slide. Okay, what should we do before, during, and after reading? Okay, so the first step, so I'm going to move back and forth a little bit. What is the title, and what does it seem that our text is about? Let's check out subheadings, pictures, and captions. So there are some other text features that you could check out if it was a different text. This particular text, you're looking at subheadings, pictures, and captions. You might come across texts that have illustrations and graphs and charts. There might be bold type that would be like words that are important. So this doesn't have some of those things, but this will have our subheadings, pictures, and captions. So we're going to look at that. Okay, so the title here, and this, if I look here, there's a month and year. There's also a volume and an issue number. So this appears to be like an entire, like almost like a magazine. So like maybe this isn't necessarily the title of the article as much as it's the title of the publication, but it doesn't look like our actual article has a title. So the publication is called Animal World. So if you're getting ready to read something called Animal World, do you think that it's going to be about ice cream? No. It's obviously going to be about animals. So that's a big red flag there to help tell us what this is going to be about. And then we can go down through and look at some of the text features, the pictures, the subheadings. So here's our first picture we come across. It looks like a lion laying on the ground. Oh, he's adorable. Lions sometimes sleep on their back after a large meal. Okay, this is talking about a lion sleeping. Our subheadings on this page are the back sleepers, no shut-eye, and a pillow made of feathers. Okay, so this page talks a lot about animals sleeping, right? Let's see what the next page is like. So our picture, it looks like a penguin kind of bent over funny. The penguin sleeps by tucking its beak in a pillow of feathers to keep warm. Okay, so this is actually a penguin sleeping. And our subheadings are hanging around for a nap, sleeping while standing, and sweet dreams underwater. So it would appear that this entire piece of text is about the way animals sleep. So now we're just going to think a little bit about what we already know about the way that animals sleep. All right, so this is going to be continued on the next video.